So the two projects I've listed so far were part of UP construction project.
There you go.
That was quick. That was good reaction.
Sorry.
No problem. So the two projects I've mentioned so far were in the newsletter UP Construction Project News through the Market Builders Exchange, and I'm hoping to get a couple more bids before finalizing, at least finalizing the auxiliary building, so more to come on that. Our boiler, our pool boiler at MSHS is going to be starting soon, waiting on some supplies to get shipped, but that should be underway very shortly. Our parking lot, you've probably noticed, is under construction, our Graverette parking lot is under construction, progressing nicely. Had a few things to work out as far as some of the sewer, the sewer or storm sewer lines that were running through that parking lot. The ones that were part of the tear out, or the area that was being torn out, were pretty easy, but there was another section underneath the current playground that took a little bit of problem solving. So that is on schedule and progressing well. And then lastly, I just wanted to let the board know that I've approached IDI about doing some initial planning preparation for a couple of projects, and those are the science labs at the high school here at MSHS, and also some kind of shop remodel at Marquette Alternative High School. And that should be something that I can get you more information on soon, but looking to work with IDI on that one. I should mention that GEI is currently still working with us on some of those other projects that I've mentioned. So one other last minute add-on that was something that we just worked on today. We have a heater at the in the Graverette mechanical room that is not operable. So we are looking to fix that, and likely to go with Prime, who came in with a bid that included some venting, a pretty reasonable price to replace that heater in the Graverette mechanical room. So those are the projects that we have going on or will soon be going on, and I just wanted to run those by the board. While I have the mic, I also wanted to, take a moment to introduce our new Cherry Creek principal, Mrs. Holly Musco. Many of you recognize Mrs. Musco from being a longtime teacher at Marquette Area Public Schools. I had the pleasure of working with her at Superior Hills when coming there, and she was a first grade teacher for many years, a title teacher. She went to Marisa as a coach, instructional coach, literacy coach, and now she's coming back to us as the new principal at Cherry Creek. So congratulations, Holly. Welcome aboard. We're very happy to have you. Wanted to thank Mr. Nick Steffi for stepping in and providing video and sound, and that's been a much desired change for some time, and we've been working on this for a while, and it's great to see you here in person and have us mic'd up, although my voice projecting, I'm used to talking loud, so I'm trying to scale it way back here, so it's going to take some adjustment. But thank you, Nick, for that service. And then lastly, I just wanted to remind everybody, the audience, the board, that we have a couple of open seats coming up here part of the November election. July 26th is the deadline for applications for those two open seats. See the county clerk if you are interested. And that is all I have for the board tonight.
I just had a question on the, you picked Prime, which was the middle bid. You said because they included some venting?
Right.
Did the venting need to be changed?
According to the maintenance guys that I rely on, they felt like it should have been, that it should be replaced, and they just felt good about what Prime was going to provide. So
was it part of the spec so that the others could have bid it if they wanted to?
Not necessarily. It was get the job done. It wasn't necessarily specifically identified, but it was identified when they went to go do the job or when they bid out the job that it needed to be done. So
Okay.
I think other bidder had included it as well. So
right.
Two of them included.
Yep. 2 of the 3 identified that. To be completely honest, I relied on my maintenance guys to work with them on those. They did the walkthroughs. I wasn't part of the walkthrough, so I was relying on them to give me their advice and input. So, anyway.
I think you let Holly off the real easy. I think she should have to tell us a little bit about herself and how happy she is to be back.
After
I was
I-
ready. But,
Go ahead.
well, I just wanted to thank the board for approving my hire. This is a calling in my heart, and I can't describe it as anything other than that. I am beyond thrilled, excited. My interview was very emotional, lots of tears, because it just means that much to me to have this opportunity. Was born and raised in Marquette. I actually went to elementary school at Silver Creek Elementary, and so the principal that opened the building was my childhood principal, who made quite an impression on me. And so it's just coming from the deepest part of my heart and soul, and I'm just fully committed to providing everything that I possibly can for our district, the students, the community of Cherry Creek Elementary and Marquette as a whole. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I thank Zach, our superintendent, spent several hours with me and our other new principal last week, sharing some insights and support. And so I just feel so welcomed into this new role. And for me, it's coming home. You know, even though Marisa is part of our community, this is where I feel at home. And I shared the strategic planning process. Being part of that team just made me, that pull to come back was just so strong, and I wanted to be part of the inside of that team. So lots of dreams and hopes that I'm looking forward to.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, we have a consent agenda, the minutes of the regular board meeting of June 27th, personnel report dated 2022, and financial reports of June 2022, receipts and disbursements.
Should we do each of them separately? Because we'll have a conflict in one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we just, well,
Personnel report will have a conflict.
Yeah. So maybe we should do them separately.
well, we can, or we can, you can just abstain from the
He
consent
doesn't
agenda.
need to abstain.
I could just abstain from B, I guess. I don't know, does that
Although we
work?
have to-
No, it's one motion.
Okay. Well, all right, we'll do part A, minutes of the regular board meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the board meeting minutes of June 27th.
Support.
Motion and support, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for A. B, personnel report dated 2022.
I'll make a
Motion,
motion that we approve the personnel report dated July 2022.
Support.
I will abstain.
got a motion and support, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
But we got one abstention.
And one abstention.
Yep.
Financial reports,
I'll make a motion that we approve the financial reports of June 2022, receipts and disbursements.
Support.
have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're back to comments from the public. We have 3 people speaking. I'll start with Brad Jermu.
I'll actually allow Jennifer Buda to go first, if that's all right.
Okay, Jennifer Boothlaw.
My name is Jennifer Buda.
Buda.
My son is Jordan DeMay. First, I want to thank Mr. Young, Mr. Palmer-Berry, and Mr. Masano for their support through all of this and for allowing us to participate in the graduation. It meant the world to me, and if you were there, you know it meant a lot to Jordan's friends, families, classmates, and the community. On the day that Jordan passed away, the parents that you see here, and many more, were the ones who comforted the students throughout that day. and for many days to follow. The students went through a bit of shock, I'm guessing in the first week, and then they went to spring break. And when they returned from spring break, reality was there. And to my knowledge, they had no support services available to them. The stickers, notes, posters, everything that were by Jordan's locker, they were removed and the students were told we're going back to normal. That message sent that they're going back to normal didn't validate their feelings. It maybe made them feel like what they were feeling wasn't normal, that they should be feeling something different, that maybe other kids weren't feeling the same as they were. They were told they could not pass out bracelets or stickers or t-shirts at the school. These students were reaching out, trying to find their way to deal with grief, and they were stifled. Other school districts in the county did allow t-shirts to be passed out, and if you could see the pictures of those students and the amount of joy it brought them, but Jordan's own school was not allowed to do that. At a soccer game, the team taped their wrists like Jordan always would during a basketball game because he thought it was cool. And it was asked of Mr. Tizio if something could be said about Jordan. They were told no, because they were keeping things professional. This same professional athletic director never asked us once after Jordan had a major knee injury after 2 surgeries, one across the country, if Jordan was okay. The students asked for Jordan's basketball jersey to be hung in the gym. They were told no, due to funding or something like that. But I'm pretty sure the gym is called the Barb Krill Gymnasium. And I don't know if it's about money. This is just his jersey that they wanted hung up. And if the students want his jersey hung because it inspires them, comforts them, or reminds them of Jordan, hang the jersey. I've been told that the school doesn't want to celebrate it. I don't know what it is. But I know that the students want to celebrate him. Jordan made people feel special, whether it was a smile or saying that he'd be there for them, or as we all know, I got you. Jordan's life and story have already saved other people's lives. We receive messages all the time that because we shared the story, kids know they can talk to their parents in this situation. As a district, you've failed. The students asked to do things that comforted them, and they were ignored. Did anyone ask the students what they needed? Was a survey sent to the parents? And their feelings were squashed with, we're going back to normal. Who's going back to normal? And if you are, it's not going to be for a minute, because this stung, and it stung going far beyond our community or our school. So tonight, I am formally requesting that you hang Jordan's basketball jersey, number 5, in the gym. Not for me, not for him, but for your students, because that's what they want, to feel better. In a crisis situation, the school needs to have a team that helps these kids. You failed and you need to do better. At a time like this, you need to listen to your students and their needs. Money, politics, and everything else needs to be set aside and just show grace, comfort, and compassion. Thank you.
All right, Brad German. I've got Brad, do you want to wait?
I'll wait.
Got to do Angela Beauchamp first? Okay.
My name is Angela Beauchamp. Thank you, board members, for being here on the 3rd beach day of the summer. I am a mother of 4, MAPS MSHS class of 2020, MSHS class of 2022, and an incoming sophomore and incoming 7th grader. I am currently the president of the Bothwell Parent Organization, hoping to find a replacement, so if you could work your magic. I am a volunteer, and when I say volunteer, I don't mean I'm going to bring cookies to the bake sale. I'm sure you've seen my name, I'm sure you've heard of me. I believe firmly in the it takes a village mentality. I do what I do, not for the accolades, clearly. I school of choice. If I didn't school of choice, I would love to be sitting where you're at, but I do. I school of choice because it's MAPS, and to me, it's the best in our area. I also firmly believe in when there is an issue, I'm not going to complain, I'm going to be part of the solution. I invest myself for the kids, and I don't mean just being on a board or running project graduation. I want to be around the kids. I want to be there for them. I grew up a single mom, only child, latchkey. My mom didn't know any of my friends, didn't know any of my teachers, didn't know anything about my schools. I have a bit of PTSD being in this room because on March 25th, this is where many lives changed. I was here that day. I went home with snot on my shoulder because I hugged so many students. I'm a former educator as well. I was a middle school secretary, which I did 1 year and will never do again. I get policy, I get procedure, there's things we do for certain reasons. It takes a village, but right now we need to pause and listen to the part of our village that necessarily isn't being heard, and those are our kids. I speak to multiple kids in this building that day, all night long, because we were up all night long, the next night. People call me Mama B because they know they can come to me, they can reach out to me. I've reached out to multiple students, and not just the senior class, because I have 4 kids who've gone through this school. I connect, because kids are what is going to make our world better. These kids have a heavy burden on their shoulders, and we need to pause, because everybody needs to be able to use these words that are on my chest, the I got you, and genuinely look into their eyes and say, I got you. There's a crisis team at the high school, I know this. I asked my 2 students, can you name me one person on the crisis team? They couldn't. I want to be a part of the change. I want to be a part of the solution. So if and when tragedy happens, and I'm not just talking about Jordy, I'm talking about COVID and all the mental health ramifications that happened with COVID. We won't know for years, but we need to pause and listen to these kids. What do you need? If that jersey is what's going to do it, then let's do it. They need to be heard. And it's on me, and it's on you, and it's on them, and it's on the teachers. It's on us to do better for them. They want us to help them, okay? And we've got to go beyond policy and procedures. There is a place for that, and I 100% get that, but we need to revisit that. We need to rethink the way that maybe we approach or deliver the policy and procedures, right? Kids don't want to hear, well, because that's the way it's supposed to be, those are the rules, okay? In a time when they're struggling, when they're crying out, that's deaf ears to them. So let's be better. Let's do better. Let's, every one of us, wear these shirts and mean it. Because I am here. I am volunteering. I will roll up my sleeves and get dirty for this because these kids deserve it. We deserve it. As we want to leave our mark, now is the time. We need to shift the paradigm and be there, really be there for our kids. I thank you all. And whenever you're ready to start making the change, my email is angelabeauchamp@gmail.com, 906-360-3800. Please, I'm ready. Let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Giroux?
I don't know how I follow that. I honestly didn't intend to speak tonight, and I filled the sheet out just in case I wanted to. My name is Brad Germo. I'm I'm a transplant, grew up in Texas, moved to the UP to follow my parents, who were Upers from the Keweenaw. Met a girl from Virginia who went to NMU around the same time I did, and we fell in love with the place and decided to stay. We have 3 boys, all who have come through the MAPS school district. Our oldest son, Jordan, was a golfer, played, here at the high school through the, athletics program, and he's now a senior to be at NMU. Our middle son, Justin, just graduated this year. He's moving on to Valparaiso in Indiana to play football, where Kristen swam, so that's kind of cool. And our youngest son, good luck. He's a freshman, sophomore next year, as they will attest. He's a handful, and hopefully I'm not at this podium for him for other reasons in the next 3 years, but he has matured quite a bit. Jennifer and Angela really said it better than I ever could. I never thought of myself as Jordy's dad, but I was told I was kind of a second dad over the years because he was always at our house. We joked that he should be on our W-2s, some of those years, just because, him and Justin were, the best of friends, and they have other great friends like Owen, and but house proximity, he lived right down the road from us, so it was just easy. It was always Jordy, Fitchie, and Justin in those early years. And then in the high school, like Angela said, I meant to say this up front. What you do day in and day out, year in and year out, it's like coaching. We've coached athletics. It's a thankless job in a lot of ways. The general public doesn't understand the hours, the sweat, the effort, everything that you put into it. So thank you for what you do. I mean, you don't hear that enough, I guarantee it. So, first of all, thank you. But, we raise our kids and we tell them, when times are tough, roll your sleeves up. If you don't like what's happening, pivot, do something different. What's that definition of insanity? If you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you expect a different result, you're not going to get it. It hit me hard, obviously with, Jordy's situation, but then a couple weeks later, we had it happen up the road, and it happened at NMU with a student athlete. 3 suicides in our small county in the span of about 5 weeks. It's not just Jordy, it's an issue, and all those circumstances were different. And I know we do fire drills, and I know we do, shoot. My wife works at Sandy Knoll. I know they do active shooter drills. I don't know, and I won't claim to know, but maybe you can do drills with the students about, here's what happens if a fellow classmate passes away, no matter what the reason is. This is how we're going to react to it, and this is what, we're going to do. And again, like Angela stated, my wife, we want to be part of the solution. We're here to offer our support in any way we can. I could sit here and, I've got a laundry list of things I could say, and I know everyone's got a laundry list of things I could say about me that do better, do better, do better. So, I don't want to take my time to, but, it just floors me that there's any administrative or athletic directors or anyone who not only wouldn't reach out to Jordy's family when he had season-ending, surgery, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you've heard from them since he passed away either, to offer anything. That's like a clear do-better thing in my eyes. You're representing the athletic department. He was a student athlete for 4 years. There needs to be some kind of acknowledgement. And then you hear the stories about the soccer game and a few other things and the jersey, and it's, I've had an active role with the T-shirts. I want no credit for it. I told Jen and Jordy's dad this when it happened, but I said, I went through my text messages. I saved everything. And, I coached Jordy from probably, 4th or 5th grade on in basketball, and I mean, this was Jordy's words. He would always say, I got you. And it's like, Jordy, I need you to do this. I need you to be at practice. He's like, I got you. And then I got you. And it's like, I got you. And I'm like, Jen, I think I got it. We can run with something like this to help the kids. And because they both stated, they're just looking for something to gravitate to feel a oneness that they're not in this alone. And I don't care if it's a T-shirt or a hoodie or a bracelet or a sticker or whatever it may be, a jersey hanging in the basketball gym. I respectfully go along with Jen and say, pivot, do it. It's not hurting anything. And I understand. I did pharmaceutical sales for 8-9 years. I worked with psychiatrists. I had antidepressive medication that I literally sold for 8 years. It wasn't because I slept in a Holiday Inn or anything like that, but I was trained on it. I dealt with it in the real life. I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. I've been there for 11, 12 years. So I've been in the medical arena pretty much my whole adult life. And yes, you have your policy, as it was stated, but, a jersey hanging up, and, Ishpeming High School, Michelle, from up there who runs the Ishpeming Clinic, out of her own pocket, she bought 100 T-shirts, and the Ishpeming principal said, here's a table, lunchroom, pass them out, and in 30 minutes, all 100 shirts were gone. And the pictures she sent of these kids to Jen and us was like, it wasn't even the T-shirt, or it was just like, wow, look at the smiles, they just felt, and they unfortunately went through it with Daniel, and everybody knows that story real well. And it just felt, at the end of the school year when this all happened, that no matter what anyone asked, and most importantly the kids, it was just like, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. But they're watching it happen at their neighboring schools, and it's hard as a parent to say, it's okay in Ishpeming or in Nagani, but we don't do it like that in Marquette. That's really tough. And, I struggle with my kids on what to tell them, because they're going through every anger, grief, sobbing, angry, and you're trying to just tell them it's okay to be happy. You're allowed to be happy. Jen will tell us, to my own sons and every other kid, it's like, go to the beach. Jordy loved the beach. Be happy. He doesn't want you to sit in the corner, so here we are telling him, sit in the corner. And you can't do this at the soccer game. So I know I'm rambling, but again, I thank you for listening to all of us. And I know there's not just the 4 of us parents and 5 over there that you see. There's, an army of parents that, if there's anything we can do that your, body comes up with that, let's try this or let's try that, or if you're open to our suggestions, we're here. We're all in it together. Like I said, it takes a village. And I just appreciate your time, appreciate your efforts, appreciate you listening. And I pray that some common sense and compassion and some focus on the kids and what they need is that we can pivot as a whole entire community and do whatever it is that we can do to help. And I just want to also say thank you to you and John for sharing the details of what happened. That I can't eat to this day. I don't know how you did it. But it truly, I've gotten messages from friends in Virginia. I've gotten friends from messages on the West Coast that have said, wow, my kid got the similar thing, and they saw the Inside Edition story on Jordy, and they heard about it, and they're having conversations, and it's probably saving some lives if you really get down to it. So, again, thank you for your time, and appreciate it.
Board member comments? Anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, congratulations. Just working with you a little bit on that strategic plan, I know that you're going to do incredible things there. Second of all, and third of all, thank you for coming and thank you for being brave. I have your shirts because I teach in Ishpeming. And in fact, just as a side note, the staff chose the Friday after, and the entire staff wore your shirt, and I grabbed another one for my kid who goes to Bothwell. So much has changed in education, and there's so much compliance that didn't exist even 20 years ago. But one of the things that I'm afraid leaders have become too fearful of is involving kids. We have to involve kids. We went through this in Ishpeming, not just with Daniel, but with Justin. It rocks a community. It rocked staff. It rocked kids. And we got through it. It was a community morning up there for 8 months. But everybody's door was constantly open for kids. Kids ate lunch in my room for 8 months straight. There were kids in the fetal position, and I wasn't the only one, so this isn't about me. We have to involve and listen to kids about everything. Secondarily, this is not a MAPS issue or an Ishpeming issue or now a Westwood issue. This is a community issue, and it turns out that this landmass doesn't really recognize where district boundaries end. We have to do better across the board. And there's, of course, no real easy, clear answer. If there was, we wouldn't be here. But kids have got to be first, and we can't be scared of them. So thank you for being brave. Thank you for using Jordan's spirit to say what you said. I hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
I think, just really briefly, congratulations, and welcome aboard and back. And as a former Silver Creek alum, it's good to see somebody represent. I think for us to do our job, and there's a lot I can say, and as a board member, our job is to set policy and then examine whether policy is being followed and see if we have to change policy. So our role, as much as we want to say we need to step in and do something, I think we have to take some steps to do it and do it right and make sure it's lasting, right? So I think it's important that we get some kind of after-action report, something, so that we understand kind of what steps we took, what policy we were, and I'm not just throwing policy out there to avoid it, but what policy supposedly we were saying we were following when we did certain things as an organization. So I would ask that that be done so the board has a better idea of kind of what was done and why it was done. So then we can take appropriate action for us. We can step in as an administrator and do things, but we could certainly say these are the policies and these are the priorities of our school district. So I appreciate you coming in, and words can't even begin, right? And you've heard that a lot, so I'm not going to go there. But thank you.
Well, I would guess that a lot of it was not policy per se. It was more administrative guidelines that was probably being followed than something that we actually had a hand in. But I mean, that's something that maybe we should look at and have more of a role in. What do we do when something like this happens? I mean, sorry. I mean, my son is a senior, and he played baseball with Jordy, and he called me that morning, and he's like, I can't be here. I need to leave. I can't be here. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's like, 9, 10 in the morning. I'm like, nothing can be that bad at school. What's going on? And then he told me, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, you're not going anywhere. You're not driving. I know you're upset. And so I came and I picked him up. And he was walking towards me. And he was fine until he saw me. Then he just started bawling. And it was really hard. And I just can't imagine what you've gone through. And, it was just so hard. And yeah, you wonder what other things could we have done, to help, not just after, but before. And, yeah, we need to sit down and really think about what happened and what we can do to move forward from here. Because, yeah, our kids are still hurting. I mean, I was up on the stage handing out diplomas, and then you guys came up to get Jordy's, and it was so hard not to just, fall down on the ground and start crying. And But yeah, we need to do better, for sure. So thank you guys for coming. And Mrs. Musco, I'm so happy for you to be at Cherry Creek. On a transition, just end on a happy note. Warm fuzzy is cold prickly is warm fuzzy. But all three of my boys had Mrs. Musco for first grade, and she's just fabulous. And I'm just so happy that other kids get to have you. So that's it.
I would like to say thank you very much for being here. I know this was not easy. We did have a gathering in this room, and I know you were there the night that we had the counselors and everybody in here. I came to that. Were you not here for that? There was a lot of kids in here. It was for the kids. It was for any one of you. I didn't know. Okay.
The day after Saturday.
And I don't know which day, but it was. We had lots of counselors in here, and a lot of met with the kids, and yeah.
We were all. Well, she wasn't there.
Okay.
We were all-
Okay. So we didn't totally drop the ball. We tried really hard to work with the kids. That was something that we thought was really important. So anyway, thank you for coming. And Holly, thank you for being with us again. You could easily have not put in. For all the great times you.
We try not to make people cry.
She's one of the wonderful ones for the
That's
kids.
not a goal.
She's amazing. So. Anyway, announcements and other meetings.
I'd like to say
Oh,
something
okay.
as well, sorry. I don't think we went through everybody's to see if they wanted to say something. Thank you. Thank you for being here. These are the things we wish we didn't have this happen in order for us to talk about these things. It is the kids that matter and whose voices we need to hear. I don't know policy around this. I am more the budget one, the business person, although policy is as important. And for me, the kids, and I'm not real good following policy when it comes to these things, and so I don't know what happened. I don't know the details. I do know I've been in a similar situation where an employee, my kid's best friend, and end of senior year, and we closed the business, and we came home, and for 2 weeks, our house was where they mourned him. And we did those things. I would hope that we can do better, and I know we will do better, that there has to be ways of processing this. We know that mental health is a piece that we're all discussing right now. And the reason I'm up here is because I am a mama bear. Kyla can attest to that. I am not one for just sitting still and not rolling up my sleeves. I didn't come here. My kids aren't in school right now here. What do I do? Where do I go? I went to a parents' meeting, and then my hope is that we are doing better. And we have had a meeting with an incredible facilitator. It blew my mind. And we had 2 students there, another young, amazing woman I know, Bella, and it was for our community about mental health issues. And it was MAPS and Marisa that pulled it together with parents asking, what can we do, right?
It's open invitation.
Open invitation.
It's happening again on August 10th.
August 10th. It's at the Ramada. Afterwards, I can get your
email, phone number, send you it. I've just been sending it out to lots of people, and particularly to young folks who need to be there, and we need to hear what they needed that we weren't able to do, or what we did do that was helpful, if there's that as well. I do strongly believe that the silver linings of tragedies like this, of COVID, is we're now looking at the emotional and social well-being of a child. We're looking at mental health. We're talking about this. I do this at work all day long. Anxiety is not just you, it's all of us with our version. Depression, that comes and goes. Everybody has their version. So how do we talk about these? How do we give our kids and ourselves, adults, the tools to deal with this, and that it's not a horrible thing, and that it's a part of our entire well-being and our education. So I am with you, and I'm here to roll up my sleeves, and to, this woman is, if I'm correct, not every 90 days we will be meeting until we've done what we've needed to do. She's been working with the Menominee Nation for how many years? 11 years, every 90 days. And it's the community, and it's spreading the word, and it's getting everybody there. She is incredible. So please, we're here to do this with you. And thank you for coming. We needed to hear this.
Yeah, everything that said, I agree with. Again, congratulations, welcome back, and thanks for sharing some of those details that I would imagine probably no one up here had previously, known about. So, thank you.
All right, announcements and other meetings. We have another meeting here on August 15th, 5:30. Would like to say, can we go back to meeting at the different schools? I noticed that our dates are all here.
Well, the summer meetings are just, there's nobody at the schools right now.
All right.
So that is why. So if you look on our calendar, September we're meeting here because a lot of times we'll have a reception for our new hires. And then we start back to the schools in October and November.
All right. Sounds good.
Can we do Cherry Creek right away, just to put the pressure on?
We'll do them first.
Two schools that we didn't get to during the last year first.
All right, sounds good. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
You can stay here.